understand, but when you make a decision to make bad life choices, and then have an opportunity to change those life choices, man, just do it. Just do it. All right. But anyway, Johnson suffered a bullet wound to his shoulder. He did recover fully, but the driver of the vehicle, his friend, I think his name was Derricus Johnson. I think I'm going on memory, but he did not survive the attack. And according to new court docs, again released by TMZ. So, but I have seen a lot of this in other sources as well. That law enforcement say intelligence gathered suggested that the shooting was gang related and a murder attempt on Chris Johnson. Again, going back to your life choices that you make. And officials also say months later, a noted Florida gang member named Dominic Bolden shot and killed two men on January 19th, 2016, and on July 24th, 2016, who were believed to be the shooters in the March 2015 incident. Again, these are all just allegations but they're allegations that come from court documents. And so apparently there was this murder for hire that Chris Johnson is accused of helping with day-to-day operations of it. So apparently there's some juice in the can, if you will. And as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And right now there appears to be a lot of smoke coming out of Chris Johnson, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, he was probably one of the best running backs of his time. So we'll be following that. We'll see what happens, and as things come out, we don't want to get the cart before the horse, if you will. But certainly, if this appears to be right, and it's anything like Tiger King, I'm sorry, I had to go there, didn't I? Another murder for hire case. What did he get? Like 20 some odd years, I think. I'm going to get off in the weeds here a little bit, but my buddy Jason Hammer, you might know him from local radio here, but we've known each other for a long time, tweeted out he was just happened to be watching the president's coronavirus press conference, and someone in the press actually asked Donald Trump, would you consider giving a pardon to Tiger King? Oh my gosh. What have we gotten to? First of all, this shows you how ignorant the press is. The president cannot pardon state charges. He can only pardon federal charges. So I'm pretty sure those were state charges, not federal charges. So that said, I mean, it is what it is. In this time we get off into some crazy. I have to admit, Tiger King is way out of my comfort zone, but it's a train wreck. You gotta keep watching it. I found, one of the things that we've done on this show since we've all been locked up together on house arrest. We've kind of been talking about the shows that we've been binging on, and I saw a meme this week on Facebook that said Netflix now gives instead of giving recommendations on shows, they recommend that you get up and take a shower and come back in an hour. That's about how it is, isn't it? Oh man, how many of us can admit that we haven't showered every day? I'm just saying, you don't have to admit yourself and throw yourself out publicly, but I'm guilty. It's just me and the hounds, man. And they stink worse than I do. So I digress. 917-889-8516. Now this is what Mo does when Mo's on. He keeps the show on track, if you will, the train on the track. Well, we got the NFL draft coming up the week after next. Next week is our official mock draft. We do this every year, and it seems weird in the way that things are, how we're approaching things now, and the NFL and everything else. So I just saw that the NFL is going to be doing a virtual draft. Um, so the the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, and instead of him coming up to the stage and get his jersey and hat and giving a big old hug to the commissioner, Roger Goodell, everything will be done virtually, and like a FaceTime or a Zoom or Teams or whatever uh, mechanism or that they're going to use to facilitate this, and it's going to be kind of weird. So we'll see. We're on Tua watch. We'll see where Tua from Alabama ends up at. Let's kind of dabble in, have a little practice run here. In about 10 minutes, we'll be joined by Mo from the BS Sports. I mean, kind of on my mind. Ed Kracz, beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles. Shoot them at the same time. We'll be joining us. So we'll see. We'll kind of dabble more into this story. I'm sorry, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I apologize for that. So let's talk a little bit about the number one pick. I mean, we've talked about this for a while. We thought, well, is Tua going to be number one? I just don't see it. I mean, I don't see the Bengals going anywhere but Joe Burrow. I guess there's that option there where the Dolphins offer every single one of their draft picks for the next 5 million years, but there's no way the Bengals will be giving up this pick. There's just no way. But again, I just don't see. There's no way whatsoever that they're not going to select Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's an Ohio guy. Granted, he didn't go to college there, but that's kind of his home area. The fans love him. They need to move on from Howdy Doody. I know, that's an inside joke. Redheaded freckle kid. But Joe Burrow. So what we do think, though, is that the Dolphins will trade up as high as they can go. And what we do think at this moment, and it will certainly, again, we might change some of the things. And again, this is, when I say we, I mean me, but just some of the things that we look at here at the show. And we might change things around by next week in our official mock draft. So this is kind of a practice run and looking at where things are and where they lie at. But we kind of think that the Dolphins will trade up all the way up to number 2, and we know that the Dolphins like Tua, and Tua goes number 2 with Miami, who would have moved up from traded up from 5th to the 2nd position. The Dolphins have been eyeing Tua for nearly a year. And to prevent anyone from stealing him, I mean, Miami decides to make a trade all the way up to 2nd spot in the draft to get the Redskins to agree to a deal. And the Dolphins give Washington 3 picks, 5, 26, and 39. So obviously 2 quarterbacks right there are going in the first round, 1 and 2. It's just not uncommon, but certainly I'm curious on how this is all going to play together with Tua. Is he as healthy? Is this all just smoke and mirrors with him? I don't know. I would just be very cautious with the Dolphins. If I was the Dolphins, I'd be very cautious about drafting Tua at 2. But I'm more of a conservative guy. And granted, Tua in his heyday, yes, definitely a number 1 pick all day long, every day, and twice on Sunday. But when we look at his health issues over the last year and a half, and we look at the things that he dealt with at Alabama, I mean, come on, he didn't even play in the national championship the year before last. So I don't know. If I was the Dolphins, I'd have some strong reservations about drafting Tua at number 2. Now, there again, I still think, and this is just me in my opinion, but I still think that they could have stayed at number 5 and still picked up Tua. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, each way they're going to make sure they got that. So we think Joe Burrow's going to go number 1, Tua's going to go number 2, and Jeff Ogata, because we'll just say Jeff because you know me and names, but he'll go to the Lions in the number 3 pick after trading away Darius Slay. The Lions are in dire need of some help in their secondary, and this is where Jeff comes in. Obviously, the former Ohio State corner, super stud there at Ohio State, and, well, I don't like to give Ohio State any credit at all, but we'll have to leave that for Adam Jividan, our Browns fan, next week on the thing. He's a big Ohio State guy. I'm an IU guy. Hey, what can I say? So I'm good to see. I'm good to see some magic in the Big Ten. Let's go ahead and go to another Ohio State, and this is a guy that everybody knows as one of the top prospects in the first round, and obviously we're talking about Chase Young. Chase Young to the Giants, we feel like will be in the number 4 slot in the first round. The Giants went into the draft with plans to take a left tackle, if you remember, at 4th overall. But then they threw those plans out the windows and scrapped that after seeing Chase Young just basically fall into their lap. So I can't see how this is going to change in the number 4 pick with the Giants, and we'll see how this comes together. But I think this will be a good opportunity for Chase Young and the Giants. I think it'll be a good match. And obviously, as we just talked about, the Redskins traded with the Dolphins in the number 5 pick, and we'll probably see them get that offensive lineman guy from Iowa, the Tristan Wirfs of the world. You look at Trent Williams doing everything he can do to get out of Washington. The Redskins are nearly need to replace him at tackle, and not only do they need Wirfs there. Is it Wirfs or Riffs? Wirfs. Wirfs. That guy. Well, they also need more. So they got the 26 and 39. The Redskins got a lot of work to do, and as we always know, Andrew Thompson. We'll go with, now we're down to pick 6 in round 1, and the San Diego Chargers. And as we know, Phillip Rivers is leaving the Chargers and coming here to the Indianapolis Colts. But I don't think those are going to draft a quarterback. I think they'll draft an offensive lineman. They'll probably land with Andrew Thompson out of Georgia, with multiple players like Keenan Allen, Melvin Ingram, Hunter Henry, and Joey Bosa set for free agency in the 2020 season. The Chargers have their work cut out for them. And they're a team that are built to win now, and drafting a quarterback won't do much to help them in 2020. Instead of going for Herbert, I think the Chargers add a key piece to their offensive line by selecting one of the best tackles in the draft, and that's Andrew Thomas. My name is Tom Marcos, El Presidente. We'll continue this conversation momentarily. With Ed from the beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles and our official NFL contributor, SI.com. We'll be right back right here on the Balance Radio Network. I just want to take you let's set this party on fire.
The Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities, The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their